Greetings, cardboard fans. Welcome back to Hot Cardboard. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Today, I wanted to talk about the situation going on with Topps Chrome Update Basketball. For those of you that follow the Topps basketball products quite closely, I'll probably be telling you a fair bit of information that is already known to you, but for the rest of you, hopefully you'll learn a little bit about Topps Chrome basketball products generally and what actions or inactions might be appropriate at this time with this latest Topps basketball product, Topps Chrome Update. So, some months ago, earlier this year, Topps came out with the Topps Chrome basketball set, which was the first time Topps had made Topps Chrome basketball in many, many years, because it was the first time that their license from NBA kicked in, as opposed to Panini having that license, which they had held for many, many years before Topps outbid them and then became the exclusive licensee of NBA properties for the production of basketball cards. Now, many years ago, when Topps had the license before Panini, the Topps Chrome basketball sets were some of the most popular basketball cards in the market, if not the most popular basketball cards in the market. So when Topps got their license back, it was a very big deal, because it meant that collectors were able to have Topps Chrome basketball cards once again after a many years absence, while Panini had the exclusive license to produce basketball cards from the NBA. So the initial release of Topps Chrome basketball cards went quite well. I did notice, though, that when it first launched, it was relatively easy to get products of Topps Chrome basketball. The most desirable products were at least at retail, were the hanger boxes and the mega boxes. And the hanger boxes were always kind of, more difficult to get. I never actually saw those in store anywhere when I was shopping for these things. And, they've always been, quite high priced compared to their MSRP. And I've never really touched any or seen any on the shelves in stores. So that was always a very difficult one to get. The mega boxes, I think, were produced much more significantly in terms of volume. And I did see those regularly on the shelves, and I remember seeing those and thinking, oh, gee, should I buy those, or are those going to be sitting there for like the next 3 months? The same was true of the Fanatics exclusive mega boxes, which are available only from Fanatics.com. Those were available for, I think, a couple of weeks at least. And when I first saw them, I thought, geez, should I be buying these? I'm not quite sure if this is going to be something that I regret doing. Well, turns out I'm an idiot, and I should have bought both of those in mass, but I failed to do that. I did pick up, maybe 10 regular mega boxes of Topps Chrome basketball, so I have those. And then kind of the last product to dry up was the blaster boxes, which I did see sit on shelves for a good 2 months after release. And I think if you know the market and you think logically, which I'm not sure either of those apply to me, but if you saw what was happening with the mega boxes and the hanger boxes, you could have probably very logically concluded that the same was going to happen to the blaster boxes. It was just going to take a little bit longer, because of those 3 products, the blaster boxes are certainly the most highly produced item, and so they just were going to take longer to dry up. They did eventually dry up, and now those things sell for a good, 20-30% over MSRP in the marketplace. So we've learned some lessons from that, I think. And now we move on to the next Topps Chrome basketball release, which is the Topps Chrome Update basketball product. And for those of you not familiar with this and wondering kind of how this differs from the original Topps Chrome release, the answer is not a whole heck of a lot. I think there are maybe a few kind of team changes that are reflected in the update product. But other than that, it's like basically the same subject matter. It's got the same rookie class, and there's still, rookie. It's almost like they just have a second Topps Chrome, base rookie card. One notable notable change in Topps Chrome update that's particularly of interest to me and other Lakers fans is the inclusion finally of Luka Doncic in the set. Boy, I was not sure he was going to be in any Topps Chrome or Topps basketball products at all, because he has not appeared in any Topps basketball products to date. But look at this, he is alive and well in the Topps basketball universe in the form of this update card here out of Topps Chrome Basketball. So this actually makes me very excited about this set as personally a Luka Doncic fan. I want to have Luka Doncic basketball cards that are made by Topps, and this is a pretty cool one here. I'm sure he'll appear in some of the insert sets. I don't imagine they'll have an auto in here. That may still be an exclusivity problem, because Luka handles his own licensing for his NIL rights, and that's why I think he's late to the game to appear in Topps. Maybe was working on a deal with them and didn't get that finalized until this later release. So anyway, that's one big change. But if you look at the cards in here, it's got all the same names from the first Topps Chrome release. Con Kneppel, VJ Edgecombe. I presume we will see the other top rookies from this set in here as well. So I don't know. Looks like an interesting set. I mean, typically with an update set like for baseball, what you see is a lot of the guys that weren't in the, a lot of the rookies that didn't appear in earlier sets from Topps, but that's not really the case here. They had plenty of coverage of the rookies in this class in the original Topps Chrome set, and now they're just getting more cards in updates. So in a sense, it feels a little bit like a way for Topps to milk the success of the Topps Chrome basketball product and give us a bunch of cards with different photos, but all of the same players. And hey, if the demand is high enough to gobble this stuff, then I don't have any complaints about that. If if the initial Topps Chrome basketball set was kind of a flop and sat on the shelf for like a year and nobody wanted it, and the rookie class sucked, then I think this product would be really unnecessary and probably would just sit on the shelves forever. But that's not the case. So here we are. Well, I think a couple weeks ago, they did the pre-orders for this set. Sold out very quickly. I think they had hobby boxes and mega boxes available, and based on what happened with the first Topps Chrome product release, those got snapped up very quickly at MSRP from the Topps.com website, where they sold them directly to customers. And a few days ago, we got word that Topps was going to do something they have never done before. And they were going to sell some more of this product, but they were going to take the seals off. And that has never, ever been done, to my knowledge, by any sports card manufacturer. Sometimes some stores will do this because they don't want to see products get, resold by their customers in sealed format. Sometimes outside of the sports card world, we have seen this. It's been something that in the TCG space with One Piece, they have at their stores, that the company that makes One Piece called Bandai, they have some stores that they run themselves, and all products that they sell there, or all booster box products anyways that they sell, they will remove the shrink wrap to prevent resale of products that come out of the stores. And there's been a few other examples of that as well in the TCG space. But for sports cards, for the manufacturer directly to do this, it's unprecedented. And so it's been getting a lot of coverage and a lot of people talking about it. I thought I'd just throw my hat in the ring and, give you my thoughts on it. So the intention of doing this removal of the seals, is really two or threefold, right? One is to prevent people from flipping these products that they get at MSRP in the aftermarket for a huge price markup. The other is to make it so the demand for rip sealed product to lower, and therefore hopefully make it so the products that they sell with a ripped seal will be on their website available for purchase for quite a bit longer than if they had the seal on, and all the people reselling snap them up. So that hopefully gives an opportunity to people who want to open packs of these products to be able to get them a bit easier than if they kept the seal on. So those are the primary reasons for them doing that. Whether or not those those goals are accomplished by this will be something we only know once these sales are done and this product is out the door and we see the impact on the market. So right now, it's July 10th, Friday. I'll probably get this posted later today. We see that you can buy these products on the Topps website, and this is just something that was put on there today. And there's an add to cart button, so these are available. These are the mega boxes that they have available without the seal. And if you want to, go check this Topps.com site out. After you see this video, they very well might be available to buy. These are not cheap, I will tell you that. They are $85 a mega box, and this is the type of mega box typically we see in retail outlets for somewhere between like $60 and $70 usually. Topps Chrome basketball products do have a higher MSRP than just about any other product that they sell. I think that the sealed original Topps Chrome Update 2025, not update, the original Topps Chrome basketball mega boxes, I think were MSRPing for like $69.99 or $79.99, if I'm not mistaken. So these are selling for a little bit higher, and that's with the seal removed. I think they were probably selling for the same price with the seal on. So there's not really a distinction there in terms of Topps' pricing of these sealed versus unsealed products. So I am certainly tempted to buy a few of these. However, I also think that it's not going to be too difficult to get these out of Targets and Walmarts and other places that sell Topps Chrome basketball products. If you get there in the first week of release, at least where I am, the market's not super, super crazy. And generally, even hotter items from Topps are relatively obtainable if you get, to the store in the first week of release, because they do put a pretty high number of these out there for sale. So I suspect that I could get these, sealed if I want them from, Target, Walmart, and other stores in my area that sell them. At the same time, I'm kind of, wanting to just pick up a few of these because I do want to rip these because I want to get the Luka cards out of them. And so, yeah, I might order a few of these directly from Topps, in addition to picking whatever up I can find, in local stores to hold long term, as a sealed investment. I did want to take a quick peek at what is going on eBay because, as with every pre-order product, there are people that are already pre-selling them, if they've been able to complete an order through the Topps website. And sure enough, there's just a mountain of people selling unsealed boxes for very significant markups, starting at about 150 or like roughly 2x MSRP. There's one for 165, and there's a lot that are selling for way more than 150. I think that first one was like $300, which is just about the craziest thing I've seen today. So I will note that none of these I don't think have sold yet. So we will have to see if anybody is actually going to buy these up. I imagine once they go out of stock on Topps, we may see a good number of them sold. But, an interesting question is whether the market, I'm sure that they will devalue, the price of the unsealed boxes compared to sealed. However, An open question is whether the price of these unsealed boxes will actually fall enough to make it, so it's not 2x MSRP. Because if people know that Topps sold these unsealed boxes, they may be more accepting of buying unsealed boxes in the aftermarket. Whereas if Topps never sold these boxes unsealed, the market would be highly suspicious of any unsealed box. But now, by sort of blessing the unsealed box as a product, Topps may have inadvertently sort of, added validity to these people who are now reselling unsealed boxes in the aftermarket, and may in fact defeat one of the two primary purposes, which was to prevent people from being able to flip these things for an easy 2x MSRP profit. So that is going to be interesting to see in the next few days as these sell out from Topps, and as we see, these things hit the market and, get into the hands of people who want to resell them. So I will be interested to see what happens with this, because I think if this works in some degree for Topps and the marketplace, then, we're definitely going to see them do more of this with the hot products that they are selling directly. I don't really know. I don't really have a, sort of view as to which is likely to happen, success or failure in terms of Topps achieving its goals. And I'm just more of a, sort of cautious watcher of what happens. But I mean, as somebody who wants to open some of this product, I think it's great. If I have a better chance to buy some of these boxes that are unsealed but untampered with, coming directly from Topps. One thing I will say though is, I think Topps is, it's almost like they're protesting a bit too much here, because largely the problem of being unable to get stuff is their own making. Because, I mean, their methods of selling online are atrociously bad, right? Like some stuff they use this EQL system, which basically, you apply, or you send in an application or whatever to purchase, and then they decide through God knows what mechanism who gets to actually buy. And I've done that for many of their products, and never gotten any of the hot items, or even like sort of lukewarm items. So I have to believe that their system is being gamed, it's being botted, and it's not actually achieving any of the goals that it's supposed to be achieving. They have it well within their capability of finding a system that, randomly distributes products amongst, thousands of people who want it, and that gives better odds to people who haven't won their EQL auctions, or not auctions, but EQL, whatever, lotteries, for prior items. So they could absolutely do way better than they're doing in terms of giving people a chance to get stuff in hand. Maybe not every release, but every other or every third or fourth release, they could, make it so there's some more fairness to, and more randomness to how their products are being purchased, and not, succumb to bots the way I think they clearly are at this point. But they either refuse to do it, or they don't care enough to do it. And, it's not a matter of ability. Like, trust me, folks, every one of these companies that's getting botted into oblivion absolutely has the ability to maneuver the botters. The bots are not that sophisticated. They're usually developed by a single person, and, they are not like some kind of like pillar of technological advancement that cannot be outwitted by a company that's making, hundreds of millions of dollars off selling sports cards. It's just not true. So they could do many things technologically to get their products into more people's hands, and to give people a chance, to buy something if they've been, shutout of the last 3 or 4 hot items that they've applied to get on EQL, or through the Fanatics, system of pre-selling, which attempts to give, people a better chance at getting stuff than simply, being the fastest to click a button and trying to beat the bots out, which is very impossible for the average user. So I think that's the last thing I would say, is that I'm not a believer that Topps actually has to do this, sort of janky selling unsealed items. I think they have better options available. I hope they figure them out. I hope every seller of sports cards, every manufacturer of sports cards and of TCG cards, invests the time, effort, and resources into building systems that actually get more products into more hands at reasonable prices, because it's well within their capability, and they're choosing not to do it. That's all there is to it. All right, that's what we got for today. Hope everybody's doing well, and we will see you all next time. Bye now.